As the sun starts to fade, the dead start to rise and take over the night. They wander around aimlessly, every time. Stalchildren, they are undead, skeletal creatures that seem to be closely related to stalfoes, except more childlike and unarmed. We see these undeads in a lot of places in Hyrule, mostly on Hyrule Field when they spawn at night. But the question is why? Why are there so many of them in Hyrule Field? We even see skeletal dogs in Twilight Princess. Well, it's time to find out. Ocarina of Time's night should be a glorious time to be out and about. There are miles of dusky countryside to explore. There's an inky, hazy sky above and a high, full moon to light the way. But can you enjoy it? Not in the slightest. Because the undead are crawling out from under your feet during every step you take, trying to forcefully remove ankles of your legs every single time you place foot upon grass. And this isn't a special one-off incident, it's the norm for Hyrule. Skeletal assault isn't an unfortunate horrific mishap, but rather a countrywide way of life. No wonder the main settlement is a fortified castle city. Even the smallest town is fortified or hidden in the woods. But why? How did this happen? Well, let's first look at what a stalchild is. Stalchildren relentlessly attack Link in Hyrule Field at night when he's a child. Strangely enough, they do not appear when Link is an adult, despite Ganondorf's complete dominion over Hyrule at this point. It is possible that the stalchildren of Ocarina of Time are Kokiri who left the Kokiri forest, thus turning into stalchildren. They could also be Hylians who are suffering from the effects of the Lost Woods, with a stalchild being the stage between Hylian and stalfos. However, since the stalfos transformation is supposedly imposed on those unable to find their way out of the Lost Woods, it seems unlikely that such individuals would appear in Hyrule Field. Additionally, Kokiri are seen outside of the forest during the ending credits of Ocarina of Time, suggesting that their law of those who leave the forest will die is simply a warning for the outside world. So Hylians would not completely work, and the same goes for the Kokiri, but I have found something which could explain which one of the two is more likely. The Hyrulean Civil War, also known as the Unification War. Now there have been a couple of wars throughout the Zelda timeline, and also one right before the events of Ocarina of Time. Though never explicitly stated in the games, it is widely accepted that the conflicts referred to in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess are all the same event, the Hyrulean Civil War, due to matching characteristics from the events. Also, it's mentioned in the Hyrule Historia. The war is understood to take place in the realm of Hyrule, shortly before the events of Ocarina of Time. According to the Deku Tree Sprout, it took place before the King of Hyrule unified the country. As stated by Lanayru, the land of Hyrule and all its tribes were content in mind and body for many ages, until word of the Sacred Realm and its wish-granting Triforce spread throughout the world. As depicted in the prologue of A Link to the Past and explained by Lanayru, when knowledge of the Triforce spread, the people of Hyrule fought to gain control of the Sacred Realm and the almighty Triforce within. At some point later, the Hyrulean Civil War ended when the land of Hyrule was united under one banner. The Hyrulean family reigned and the other races pledged their loyalty to its king. So a lot of people probably died because of this war, and this could explain all the stalchildren we see in Hyrule Field. But a Hylian only turns into a stalfos when he gets lost in the Lost Woods. So how would that work? Well, it could be that there are more ways to become a stalfos, or in this case, stalchild. The people who died because of this war could be some sort of cursed souls, doomed to come back as stalchildren and haunt the fields. Another option is that the stalchildren are Hylians that got lost but eventually found their way out. This would be a perfect fit, since militias often hide in forests because it's a good place to hide and ambush people. We have seen this in history multiple times, and even now we have the FARC militia hiding in the forests of Colombia. So the stalchildren are dead citizens of Hyrule that died during the Civil War and now haunt the fields of Hyrule. But we don't see them anymore in the adult timeline. Why? Well, the stalchildren are purely bones and dry skin, So let's look if it's possible that their bodies completely decomposed in that time. There are 5 stages of decomposition, from a fresh corpse to only dry bone and skin. The stalchildren are in the last stage of decomposition, so they don't have much time left. When Link goes to the adult era, 7 years pass. So by that time, the corpses of those civilians could have completely decomposed. Now this is not always the case, since there are multiple things that have an effect on the decomposition. But over time, the bones would get more brittle, so after 7 years they were probably useless. So there's nothing left of the body, or at least no good parts left. But does this mean that they are gone? Well, no. In the adult era, big Poes roam Hyrule Field, and appear only when Link is riding Epona. These Poes can only be killed with a bow and arrow, as dismounting Epona will make them vanish. Only 10 big Poes exist, and they drop unique big Poe souls when defeated, which can be sold to the Poe collector for rupees and an empty bottle as a reward after giving him all 10 Poes. So because of this, I think that the curse is more likely, since they keep haunting the fields even after they have completely decomposed. But something is wrong here. We still see undeads in Hyrule Field 100 years later in the Twilight Princess game, since stalhounds still roam there. Is there something wrong with Hyrule Field? Everything that dies there comes back to life, but for this I have no answer. It could be dark magic. Or it could be that the entire field is cursed. Or the spirits of the Civil War still haunt the fields, even after all those years. So now you know the possible dark and cursed reason behind the Hyrule Field stalchildren and stalhounds. Do you like glitches? Then go to my new channel, The Game Architects. It's all about glitches and speedruns. Glitches like the 4th and the 0th day glitch in Majora's Mask. Yeah, that sounds strange, doesn't it? So go check it out, annotations are on the screen right now or in the upper right corner for mobile users.